I want you to imagine holding something precious in your hands. Maybe it's your grandmother's teacup or a vase that means the world to you. Now imagine watching it slip from your fingers and shatter into pieces on the floor. Your heart breaks with it, doesn't it? But what if I told you that in Japan, this moment of devastation could actually be the beginning of something even more beautiful than what you had before? This ancient Japanese philosophy completely transformed how I see my own broken pieces, and it might do the same for you. In the misty mountains of 15th century Japan, where cherry blossoms painted the landscape in soft pink dreams and bamboo forests whispered ancient secrets, there lived a young potter named Kenji. At just 26 years old, Kenji had already earned a reputation for creating the most exquisite tea bowls in all of Kyoto. His hands moved like gentle waves, shaping clay into vessels so beautiful that nobles traveled from distant provinces just to own one. Kenji poured his entire soul into each piece he created. Every curve, every glaze, every delicate detail was perfection itself. His pottery wasn't just functional, it was poetry made tangible. Love transformed into art. One autumn morning, as golden leaves danced outside his workshop, Kenji was putting the finishing touches on his masterpiece, a tea bowl he had spent months perfecting for the emperor's tea ceremony. It was flawless, absolutely perfect in every way. But as he reached to place it in the kiln, his sleeve caught on a tool. The bowl slipped from his hands and crashed to the wooden floor, breaking into 7 jagged pieces. Kenji fell to his knees, staring at the fragments of his dreams scattered before him. Months of work gone in an instant. His chance to serve the emperor destroyed. He gathered the pieces with trembling hands, tears dropping onto the broken ceramic like morning dew. For 3 days, Kenji couldn't bring himself to enter his workshop. He sat in his garden, holding the broken pieces, consumed by thoughts that felt all too familiar. I'm a failure. All that time wasted. I'll never create anything beautiful again. Maybe I'm just not meant for this. Have you ever felt that way? When something precious in your life breaks, a relationship, a dream, your confidence, your health, and you're left staring at the pieces, wondering if you'll ever be whole again. On the 4th day, Kenji's elderly neighbor, Master Tanaka, found him still sitting with the broken bowl. Master Tanaka was known throughout the village not just for his pottery, but for his wisdom that seemed as old as the mountains themselves. "Kenji-san," the old man said softly, settling beside him, "why do you weep over something that has become more honest?" "More honest?" Kenji looked up, confused. "Master, it's broken, ruined, worthless." Master Tanaka picked up one of the fragments and held it to the light. "In my 80 years, I've learned something profound about brokenness, young one. When something breaks, it doesn't become less than what it was. It becomes something with a story. There is an ancient art," Master Tanaka continued, his voice gentle as falling snow, "called Kintsugi. It means golden joinery. Instead of hiding the breaks or throwing away the broken pieces, we highlight them. We fill the cracks with gold." Kenji stared at him. "Gold? But that would make the breaks visible to everyone." "Exactly," he smiled. "Because the breaks are not the end of the story, Kenji-san. They are the most beautiful chapter. A bowl that has been broken and repaired with gold is not damaged goods trying to look perfect again. It is a survivor that wears its scars with pride. It is more beautiful than it ever was when it was whole. Master Tanaka pulled out a small tea bowl from his robes. Kenji gasped. Golden lines ran through it like lightning, creating the most stunning pattern he had ever seen. The breaks had been transformed into art. This bowl was broken 50 years ago. My wife dropped it on our wedding day. We were devastated, but when we repaired it with Kintsugi, it became our most treasured possession. Every time we used it, we were reminded that beauty doesn't come from perfection. It comes from resilience. You see, Kenji-san, in the West, they have a saying, "Don't cry over spilled milk." But in Japan, we say something different. We say, "The cherry blossom is most beautiful just before it falls." Our imperfections, our breaks, our scars, these don't diminish our beauty, they reveal it. With Master Tanaka's guidance, Kenji began to learn the sacred art of Kintsugi. But more than technique, he was learning a new way of seeing. Each crack became a river of gold. Each break became a story of survival. As he worked on his shattered masterpiece, something magical happened. The bowl that emerged was more stunning than anything he had ever created when trying for perfection. The golden lines told a story of fragility and strength, of breaking and healing, of finding beauty in the most unexpected places. Word spread throughout Kyoto about Kenji's transformed approach to pottery. People began bringing him their broken treasures, not to be fixed, but to be honored. And something beautiful happened. They began bringing him their broken hearts, too. A woman whose marriage had ended found hope in seeing how breaks could become beautiful. A man who had lost his business discovered that his failure could be the foundation for something even better. Children who felt different learned that their uniqueness was not something to hide, but something to celebrate with gold. Kenji realized that Kintsugi wasn't just about pottery. It was a philosophy for living. Every person who walked through his door was practicing Kintsugi on their own lives, learning to see their cracks not as flaws, but as proof of their strength. Years later, when the emperor finally visited Kenji's workshop, he was amazed not by the perfect pieces, but by the Kintsugi bowls. "These," the emperor said, holding up a golden-veined cup, "are the most honest and beautiful things I have ever seen. They don't pretend to be perfect. They celebrate having survived." Kenji became known not as the potter who created perfect things, but as the artist who showed people that their imperfections were actually their masterpiece. He learned that there are two ways to handle broken things. You can try to hide the damage and pretend it never happened, or you can fill the cracks with gold and make your healing part of your beauty. So I want to ask you something. What broken pieces are you carrying right now? What part of your story are you trying to hide because you think it makes you less valuable, less worthy, less beautiful? What if those cracks, those mistakes, those heartbreaks, those moments when you fell apart, what if those are exactly where your gold belongs? The Japanese understood something profound. Perfection is not the goal of a life well lived. Resilience is. Beauty doesn't come from having no scars. It comes from transforming your scars into art. Your breaks don't make you broken. They make you more beautiful than you ever were when you thought you were whole. The cracks in your life, they're not flaws to be hidden. They're the places where the light gets in. They're where your gold belongs. What broken part of your story is ready to become beautiful?